Good evening. I'm Alan Joines, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem. It's my pleasure to call to order this meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council and would ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark. Here. Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
And Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you very much. And would you please join the City Council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you very much. And would you please join the City Council and me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our Sergeant at Arms tonight is Lieutenant John Morris. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us tonight. Tonight we have Tonight we have the Rams in the house.
You're here.
We do have 3 honorariums that we'll be presenting. Before we get into each specific one, I want to recognize Chancellor Elwood Robinson, who is here with us tonight. Great Chancellor from Winston-Salem State. We also have the Senior Associate Director of Athletics, Sonia Hurt. Representing our athletic director, Thomas, who couldn't be here tonight. I also want to take this personal privilege and recognize Ariana Towns. Ariana has been an intern in our office this semester and done a great job, and we're going to miss you. She's going to be graduating soon, so I'll be there to see you do that. So tonight we have, let's say, the 3 honorariums. We'll go with item H1, please.
Item H1, resolution recognizing the 2023 Winston-Salem State University Rams men's basketball team. Whereas the Winston-Salem State University Rams men's basketball team won the 2023 Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association CIAA Men's Basketball Championship with a 62-57 win over the Lincoln University. And whereas the Rams entered the tournament with a 21-8 overall record and won 4 straight games against Claflin University, St. Augustine University, Virginia Union, and Lincoln University. And whereas the Rams were at 34-34 midway through the second half, they took the lead with 1 minute and 29 seconds left with 10 points. And whereas their thrilling comeback win improved their overall record to 25-8, and coaches Cleo Hill Jr., Ricky Wilson, and Lance Beckwith led the team to their 13th conference championship in school history. And whereas with their CIAA championship win, the Rams have earned an automatic bid to the 2023 National Collegiate Athletic Association Division II Atlantic Regional Tournament. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Winston-Salem do hereby commend and congratulate the Winston-Salem State University men's basketball team on their Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association championship and wish the team many more years of exceptional basketball playing.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. And I've asked Winston-Salem State alumnus, Barbara Burke, to join me in presenting, and Coach Hill, if you would, and your assistant coaches would come up, please.
Have our student athletes stand up. Introduce yourselves. Name and where you're from.
My name is Paul McLeod. I'm a sophomore at this university. I play with Boogie from North Carolina. My major is sports management. Katron Shaw, Charlotte, North Carolina. Freshman, sports management major.
communication and pre-psychology major from Kingston, North Carolina.
Taylor Austin, communication major, junior, Great North Carolina.
East Springs, therapy, regular major, graduate student. Ralph Lab, Michigan, exercise science major. Jeff Gibson, Southern North Carolina, education, state major, minor in mass communication.
Coach?
Ricky Wilson, assistant coach.
Lane Becker, assistant coach.
We'd like to definitely thank you for inviting us here. Definitely an honor and a great experience for our student athletes. You win a championship, but I won't speak for Coach P. On some level, there's a great sacrifice, great accountability, great discipline. I think that's what any champion needs to become a champion. And we hope to make this a yearly thing.
Yes.
We want to make this a yearly thing, win a championship. Thank you.
Great.
Congratulations. Now we have item H2, please.
Item H2, resolution recognizing the 2022 Winston-Salem State University Rams track and field team. Whereas Winston-Salem State University's women track and field team has won their Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association Outdoor Track and Field Championship title at Bowie State University, May 6th through 7th, 2022. And whereas the Rams track and field team competed in a total of 16 events, leading the conference after their first day, by the end of the second day, Winston-Salem claimed victory with a final score of 149.5 points against Johnson C. Smith, Claflin, Livingstone, Shaw, and Virginia State. And whereas head coach Antonio Wells and assistant coach Sierra Pridgeon led 26 student athletes through 11 outdoor meets for the 2022 season, which resulted in the Rams defending their outdoor championship title. Previous outdoor conference championships from the Rams track and field team were accomplished in 2017 and 2019. And whereas lead scorers included Kennedy Alexander, Demaya Campbell, Tamia McLean, Tiona Wilson, Alyssa Farmer, Tanaya Oaks, Asia Lampy, Kendall Barrow, Vanessa Jones, Amik Willis, 4x400 team, 4x100 team, amongst other athletes. And whereas the women's track and field team continue their journey into their 2023 outdoor season, the Rams look forward to defending their CIAA Outdoor Championship title for a third year in a row, May 5th through 6th, 2023. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Winston-Salem do hereby commend and congratulate the Winston-Salem State University women's track and field team on their Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association championship and wish the team many more years of exceptional growth.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Unanimous. I'd like for Coach Pridgeon and any other coaches to come up, and Councilmember Burke and I are going to present this.
I'm Mia Hester. I'm a sophomore with a Master of Communications major, and I'm from Livingston, North Carolina.
Hi, my name is Erica Baldwin. I'm from Goldsboro, North Carolina, and my major is criminal justice.
Hi, my name is Amik Willis, and I'm a master's in occupational therapy student from Jamaica.
Hi, my name is Nakia Ebron. I'm from Washington, North Carolina, studying exercise science, and I'm a junior.
Hi, my name is Tanaya Oaks. I'm from Goldsboro, North Carolina, senior mathematics major.
My name is Kendall Barrow. I'm a media and communication study from Winston, North Carolina, and I'm a sophomore. This is Imani Tatum. She is an elementary education major. She's from Greensboro. She lost her voice.
Hi, my name is Tamia McLean. I'm doing my master's in business administration, and I'm from Jamaica.
I'm Jade Davis. I'm from Springwood. I'm a sophomore, and my major is nursing.
Hi, my name is Rosie Farrell. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm a clinical laboratory science major, biology minor. I'm a junior.
My name is Kennedy. I'm a healthcare medical major, and I'm a junior.
My name is Vanessa Jones. I'm a physical education major. I'm a junior, and I'm from Winston. I'm here in the town Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm from Goldsboro, North Carolina as well.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you,
We'll be back
Coach.
next year.
Congratulations. Thank you all very much. Congratulations to both of the teams and for being such great ambassadors for the city of Winston-Salem and representing us so well. Item H3, please.
Item H3, recognition of the Winston-Salem Youth Advisory Council members for their attendance and active participation in the 2023 National League of Cities Congressional Summit in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. We're so proud to have had a great representation going to our National League of Cities, and I believe Jada Taylor is here, along with Ava Banner and other members of the Youth Advisory Council that will be introduced, I'm sure.
Greetings, Mayor Joines and City Council.
Good evening.
My name is Jada Taylor, a member of the city's Youth Advisory Council. I am joined by my colleagues and fellow youth council members. I would like to begin by thanking each of you, as well as all of the sponsors and community that have afforded us the opportunity to experience another great convention. We are here to give you all an overview of our participation in the National League of Cities Youth Conference, this time in Washington, D.C. Once more, we were able to connect and network with our peers and elected officials from all around the country. Throughout our presentation, we will be going over all of the youth sessions we attended. This includes the electoral process, the transportation trials, and the Bring It Back Home session. Thank you for allowing us to represent the city of Winston-Salem. Now, I would like to introduce our next presenter, Jacob Taylor.
Thank you, Jada. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jacob Taylor, and I'm here to discuss with you all the importance of what YAC obtained from our most recent NLC conference. Our first youth workshop was based on the electoral process. In this workshop, students were able to contribute to public processes and discussions of real issues through an activity based around selecting a single conference mayor from the entire 300 youth that attended this conference. Throughout the workshop, we learned practices such as voting, election marketing, and joining with others to improve society. This workshop enabled youth delegates not only to study how others participate, but also to practice participating and taking informed actions themselves. Above all, one of our very own members of Winston-Salem Youth Advisory Council became one of our first mayors of our national League of Cities Congressional Conference. And that's Ms. Ava Banner here. I believe that this is very safe to say that through this workshop, we as active members of society and upcoming voters will be able to contribute to our community with a better understanding of the electoral process. I would now like to pass the presentation on to a fellow Youth Advisory Council member, Max Chin.
Good evening, Mayor Joines and City Council members. My name is Max Chen, and this evening I will be discussing the second workshop of our conference, the transportation trials. This workshop detailed the steps needed to build an advocacy program regarding road safety and how to properly enact this program with policies, outreach, and other methods of implication. We were assigned to random groups and given a prompt that detailed a situation regarding an issue in a Californian city, which was pertaining to public transport. These situations adhered heavily to our issues we see throughout our community today, and as lesser access for those with disabilities or improper infrastructure. In our groups, we were to determine a solution to this issue and then create a tangible way to achieve the solution. We came up with various solutions and saw diverse approaches to the same problem, and it allowed us to see a glimpse into what other youth council members were dealing with in their own cities, which fostered a sense of camaraderie. This entire workshop prompted us to realize that in order to create legislation, you must consider the perspectives of everyone, from the youth to the elderly, but especially those of the people that are directly affected by the issue. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Temp Adams, and City Council members. I believe one prime issue that is detrimental to whether we make an impact on our community or not, one that maybe you all may similarly struggle with, is really implicating change when recognizing an issue. It is simple to identify issues and root causes within our society, but it is a little more tricky to create long-lasting change that will effectively impact the general welfare. Well, our last workshop, Bringing It Back Home, did just that. We were given an informative, formulaic guide on impacting requisite policymaking and necessary legislation within our municipalities, specifically as youth. I feel that out of all the things that I have personally learned there, this was the most valuable. I cannot go on to describe the amount of times youth, including myself, may have desired to contribute meaningfully to our local and general governments, but are completely stumped as to how they, just kids, could contribute. Most youth feel completely disempowered to even attempt to impact the government, but this is not how they should feel. This workshop solidified the vague ideas in our developing minds that there is no capacity to the influence you have as youth. They weren't just telling us how to make informed decisions, they were discussing how to make informed decisions. For political systems to be representative, all parts of society must be included. When young people are disenfranchised or disengaged from political processes, a significant portion of the population has little or no voice or influence in decisions that affect group members' lives. This is changing. To make a difference in the longer term, it is essential that young people are engaged in formal political processes and have a say in formulating today and tomorrow's politics. By being in attendance on a national scale, by just showing up, the Winston-Salem Youth Advisory Council is creating a more politically literate youth for our tomorrow. For closings, I would now like to pass it on to our lovely Vice Chair, Ava Banner.
Good evening, Mayor Joines and City Council members. My name is Ava Banner, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Winston-Salem Youth Advisory Council. I'd first like to start in thanking you for giving us this opportunity to attend the conference and gain the immense amount of knowledge that we were able to. But I would like to extend this thank you specifically to Councilmember Scipio for supporting and advocating for our growth and real representation within our city. Without you, we would not be able to achieve the spot that we have gained today. I would also like to extend this thank you deeply to our chaperones, Mr. Langston Chapman and Dr. Pam Peoples-Joyner, who were able to provide us with a secure and safe journey. Throughout this conference, similar to the last one, we had such momentous opportunities that helped us in realizing our ability to pioneer our successes and propel the realizations of our true potentials. Every single member of this youth council, and even the youth who are not involved, are truly capable of creating change and influencing others within the community of Winston-Salem to be civically and generally involved within our city. Oftentimes, we are disenfranchised from the lack of youth representation in local, state, and federal governments. But this conference brought us one step closer to modifying the precomposed belief that our youth will be silent. As the Winston-Salem Youth Advisory Council, we act as guidance and representation, and by us attending national-scale conventions revolving around the youth, we are cementing and propelling our place in the city for the youth that can't stand up here with us and the youth that can. I also would like to recognize some of the members that were on the planning committee, which include I, Ava Banner, Gufran Abd, and Jayla Page Thomas, who could not be with us tonight. But I would most likely like to extend my greatest appreciation to my entire youth council, some who are standing behind me and some who are not. I can really see the amount of change that we are implementing within our community and how much we are driven to truly cement our place here within the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, and again, what great representatives for the city of Winston-Salem. Recognize Councilmember Scipio for a couple of remarks, if she would, please.
Yes, I just, before the council leaves, I just want to thank you, young people, for representing Winston-Salem so magnificently. And I just want to recognize one more time that our Ava Banner, stand up, Ava, was elected mayor of the entire youth council. All 300 youth recognized her strength. I can't tell you how proud I was when they announced the results of the election, and it was Winston-Salem showing up, showing out, and that was what we do, and it was so wonderful. So I want to thank the council also, because the trip to Washington, you voted for the funds to make that happen for our young people. And I encourage you to continue to see the importance of allowing our young people to have a voice in this community. They have brilliant ideas, but we have to give them the wings that allow them to fly. And these are, Ava's a sophomore. I think everybody else, Jada is a freshman. I think everybody else is a junior. And so we really have some talent to grow. So I hope that next year our young people will continue to be nurtured by us, so that those are our leaders. We have to make sure they grow strong and tall and do a great job. And I love them because they look like they're right on track to have great jobs, so I can continue to have Social Security. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Scipio, and thank you for your leadership in helping make all this happen here. Folks, tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of two parts, the general agenda and the consent agenda. It's always the practice of this council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously approved by a committee of the City Council or are being submitted in accordance with established city procedure. There'll be no discussion of these items unless a member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered individually. Items not removed will be enacted with one motion. The meeting is being televised live tonight on TV 13, and it will be replayed tomorrow at 9 a.m. and again Wednesday at 9 p.m. Of course, copies of our agendas as well as videos of previous meetings are always available to the public at the city's website, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Council members, are there any items on consent you wish to pull?
C20.
Is there a motion on the balance?
C20.
I got it.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve consent agenda. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll see item C20, please.
Item C20, resolution electing the 2023 inductees to the Winston-Salem Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Memorial Walk of Fame.
Councilmember Raimondo, you had asked for this one.
Yes, this is just an opportunity to get these names in the spotlight in a broader public sense. So if we could just have a brief presentation.
Yeah, Mr. Rowell, please.
Good evening, Mayor Joines, members of City Council. I'm going to skip through this presentation and get right to the heart of the matter. So every year, the city does do a call for nominations in January for nominees for the Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Memorial Walk of Fame. This year we received 8 nominees, and you can see those there, and they cut across a number of the different disciplines: radio, writing, music, motion pictures, and theater. A committee of citizens who represent these various arts reviewed the applications and brought forward to the Community Development Housing General Government Committee this slate of finalists: James Funches in the area of music, Curtis Hairston in the area of music, and then Shirley Halloway Hairston in the area of theater. And so I'd like to just very briefly go over their backgrounds. James Funches was a well-known musician. He was a music and art teacher in the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System for over 30 years. He was a member of the Eliminators Band, a member of the Bill Bright Jazz Quintet, and a member of the Associated Artists of Winston-Salem. He played saxophone and flute for those bands. He also conducted the band for the Big Four historically black high schools talent shows. And in addition to being a music teacher, he is also a sculptor, and a number of his wire sculptures were displayed in the Diggs Gallery during Black History Month. The next nominee is Curtis Hairston. He was known for jazz funk. He was a jazz funk soul artist in the United States and in the UK. Had a number of top 75 hit singles, and you can see those there. His greatest hits album, celebrating Curtis Hairston, was released after his death. He was the lead singer for the BB&Q band. He was trained at Juilliard, and he is a Winston-Salem State graduate. He recorded for Atlantic Records and Pretty Pearl Productions, which was a record company run by Earl the Pearl Monroe. So there was the Winston-Salem State connection there. And also one other interesting fact, he was so highly regarded that Luther Vandross sung backup on his first record. And then the final nominee is Shirley Hairston Holloway, known as the Barefoot Storyteller. She was founder and director of Tar Heel Association of Storytellers. She was proclaimed the official storyteller of Winston-Salem by Mayor Wayne Corpening. And she has performed at a number of venues, including the Black Storytelling Festival in Baltimore, Storytelling in Central Park in New York City, and then Roadworks in Washington, D.C. She is Curtis Hairston's mother. She was also had careers with the Forsyth County Public Library System and as a kindergarten teacher. So tonight, the Community Development Housing General Government Committee recommended approval of these three nominees. If approved, then their medallions will be unveiled next summer prior to the start of the National Black Theater Festival, probably in August of 2024. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Rowell? Mr. Bundy, if you're ready for a motion?
Move to approve C20.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor of this motion, please indicate by voting yes, and anyone opposed, vote no. Should be coming up. Oh,
We had already voted.
oh, okay. Oh, recorded, okay. All right. I do want to note that I believe the family of Mr. James Funches is here with us tonight. We're honored to have you with us tonight, and certainly this is a great honor for your family. We look forward to seeing you next summer as we unveil the star. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have, then we go to the general agenda, which is comprised of the following items. There are items related to appointments, reappointments to boards and commissions, as well as our public comment period. The public comment period is a time we set aside once per month where we invite citizens to voice their opinions that are matters that are germane to city government. When the comment period is called, each speaker will be given 3 minutes, and the total comment period is limited to 30 minutes. May we have item G1, please?
Item G1, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointment to the Community Sustainability Program Committee, categorical appointment, Northeast Ward, Kira Williams, term expiring May 2024.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Item G2.
Item G2, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointments to the Urban Food Policy Council, corrections to expiration dates, Cheryl Scurry, term expiring September 2025, and Sandra Turner, term expiring September 2025.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. And then next item is the public comment period. And again, this is a time we ask citizens who like to address us on matters that are germane to city government. Please give your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. First person is Samuel Greer, please.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm a resident of Crystal Towers. The elevator is down again, and I had to walk up 11 flights of stairs and walk back down. I'm taking care of invalids, so it's harder on me, and I guess it's harder on others. And that elevator, we need some new elevators. And we really do. It's hard on those that's handicapped and can't do what we used to do when we were young. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. And my understanding is that the contract has been awarded for both elevators. Daniel Rose.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Rose. I live at 2054 Craig Street in the Southwest Ward. Mayor Joines, members of the council, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'd like to talk about the city's relationship with the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem tonight. And it seems to be that when residents from Crystal Towers or other public housing properties in the city come before the mayor or city council members, that oftentimes the reaction that we get is, that's not our problem, that the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem is a federal agency, and it oftentimes is a sort of washing of the hands of the problems that are occurring here in your borders. I'd like to remind the council and the city of Winston-Salem that we committed in January of 2022 to address the need for capital improvements at Crystal Towers, a $10 million need, of which the city has so far contributed nothing. The Housing Authority is long delayed in replacing the elevators. Originally it was supposed to be last summer, then it was last November, then it was this March, then it was this April. Now we're hearing May. And we see that the Housing Authority is struggling. We are believers, many of us are believers in housing low-income people in this community. But we know that the city can and should be doing more to support the Housing Authority's efforts there. Mayor Joines, you appoint the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem. And currently, the list of members on that Board of Commissioners includes no one who lives in public housing. There are former executives of the Reynolds Tobacco Company. There is your campaign treasurer, William Rose, no relation to me. There is Alfred Adams, who was so essential in land banking, the land that became the innovation quarter for Wake Forest. You see, the city will do almost anything when it comes to land for corporations and land for upper income people's housing, but when it comes to land banking for the poor, we just don't see the efforts being made. We see a long, drawn-out process now where you're still waiting to hear back from the UNC School of Government to tell you how to do it. Well, we want to see working people on the Board of Commissioners for HAWS. We know that you have the power to fund capital needs that the federal government has underfunded for decades. We know that you have the power to appoint people who actually know what it's like to struggle with their housing, who can actually help oversee Mr. Cheshire. I do have Mr. Cheshire's phone number. If you'd like to get back in touch with him, it's been 15 months since you made that promise. Thank you.
Joanne Allen.
Joanne Allen, P.O. Box 284-27102. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to talk about 3 different things. The first one being the staff and the employees of the Winston-Salem city government. In 2014, I came before the city council and I advised all the staff, all the members that work for the city and all of the assistant city managers and everyone. First of all, you all do not work just for the city council members. You all work for the residents of Winston-Salem. Apparently, people have forgotten who they work for. You are employed by the city, but you work directly for the citizens of Winston-Salem. So when we request information, don't tell us that, well, we're not going to answer any more questions, because that's not your job. Your job is to do what's right for the people of Winston-Salem. My second thing is this. I want to talk about integrity very quickly. Integrity. Apparently, we've lost sight across, not just here in Winston-Salem, but across the whole country on what integrity is. Integrity actually means doing what's right. The reason you all are in these positions, whether you got there legally or illegally or, by people voting or whatever, who didn't really vote for you or what have you, because we went through that in 2010. So we know how that works. You all are the most uncaring, the most inconsiderate, and sometimes the most disrespectful individuals to all of us. But the third thing that I really want to talk about is the fact that, and it's very simple, when someone gets in trouble or do something wrong, don't lie to the citizens. Stop trying to cover it up, because we've already turned over information to the state agencies in regards to things that happen, but yet and still you all try to cover it up. I don't know if Ms. Barbara Burke actually got pulled over or not. I do know that the officer stated that she did, but yet and still there's no record in the Winston-Salem Police Department in their database that says otherwise. Either she got pulled over for swerving and weaving in and out, either her husband came to the scene or he didn't, either they went downtown, either there is a video on the body cam or what have you. But listen, we're tired of people lying to us. Your job is to do right by the people and to make sure that you represent everybody in this city. Thank you.
Matthew Myers.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Matthew Mayers. I live at 2844 Wesleyan Lane. Some months I come here at the public comment period and I offer you my opinion on what I think you ought to do, generally relating to sustainability issues. But tonight, I wanted to come and offer thanks and some praise to all of you and also some of the employees of the city. I was here last Monday evening at the that committee with the really long name, and I really enjoyed the exchange that several of you had with the sustainability director, Helen Poplowski, about her benchmarking report that compares Winston-Salem's efforts in the area of sustainability to several other municipalities around the state, and also the plan that she presented to spend I think it's $274,000 of federal money coming in on some electric vehicles and the associated charging stations. And then there was something that happened sort of off agenda that I really want to offer thanks and praise to the city manager for. He made a comment to you all about budgeting for next year, looking at all of the regular cars and pickups being hybrids. Terrific move. You probably know I'm one of the impatient people. I look forward to the day when the EVs are so available that the city manager sits there and says, next year it's going to be all electric. I know that day's a little ways off, but hopefully not too far. And also, Mr. Garrity mentioned that there's a plan to look for some outside consulting. on fleet planning and moving towards decarbonizing the fleet over the next years. And I think that's terrific. You'll be shattered to know I can't be here next month to tell you what I think. But I'll be back, I hope, in June. And at that time, I will have some opinions for you, too. As a little preview, it'll probably have to do with efforts that I think the city government could be making to help the citizens and residents of Winston-Salem take full advantage of the resources available so that we can all move towards better lives through energy efficiency and electrification. Thanks very much, and have a good couple of months.
Thank you, man. Dr. Arnetta Miles, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members.
Good evening.
Dr. Arnetta Miles, 494 Smithdale Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, East Ward. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I was asked to. First, I would like to thank my city council member, Councilmember Scipio, for always answering my emails, always answering my concerns. If I have a question, you always answer those questions for me. So Councilmember Scipio, I humbly say thank you. I additionally would like to publicly say thank you to Assistant Manager Patrice Toney. I would not be Dr. Arnetta Miles if she had not submitted the research information that I needed for my dissertation, Understanding Homelessness in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. So I publicly say thank you to Assistant City Manager Patrice Toney. At this time, we have some issues, again, going on in this city. And I believe all of you, as our elected officials, are concerned about those issues. I stand before you tonight to talk about what I have often talked about frequently, is transparency and integrity. There's things going on in Winston-Salem, especially in the funding of projects that need to have transparency. I stand with Mr. Robert Clark, Councilmember Robert Clark, in questioning the funding of some of the projects that this city approves, where we're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on wasteful projects. Example, $5.24 million in a space downtown. And on tonight's agenda, there's a request for $22,000 additional dollars. It's that wasteful spending when there's so many projects and problems that this city needs help with. And speaking of this agenda, this consent agenda had 24 items. Councilmember Scipio earlier said she acknowledged the young people, that they're our future, that the council is teaching them how to be heard. Are you hearing from the taxpayers when they want to be heard? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miles. Anyone else like to be heard during public comment? Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment period. I believe the city attorney had a comment, I believe, on public records request.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Good evening.
In response to the statement made by Ms. Joanne Allen, I would just like to inform the City Council that my office has received a series of emails from Ms. Allen relative to Councilmember Burke. And just so you know, in her request, Ms. Allen asked for information regarding a traffic stop, that a shift duty officer was called to the scene, that Ms. Burke refused to take a breathalyzer test, and that Ms. Burke's husband was called to the scene to pick her up. We've searched all of our records, databases for an incident of that nature and have found no evidence of an incident of that nature as was described.
Thank you, Attorney Carmen. All right, thank you. I also meant to mention as to the consent agenda, there's an item on there that's dear to everybody's heart, and that's the fact we're buying 11 brand-new leaf loaders. So we're really trying to get our equipment up to speed as we start that leaf season next year. Councilmembers, as you know, we do have a need to go into closed session, and I recognize Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I move that the Winston-Salem City Council go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-1185 to provide instructions to staff regarding the acquisition of property in the Salem Creek Business Park. It's approximately 37 acres identified as PIN number 6803-91-3210, owned by TF Properties Incorporated for the police driving range.
Is there a second? Second. Motion second to go into closed session. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? We will say no. We have a unanimous to go into closed session. In closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
And need a motion to adjourn. Councilmember Scipio moves adjournment, seconded by Councilmember Lundy. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.